Good morning, guys. Bit of a surprise video. I'm going to bring you some breaking news in this one. We have got confirmation that Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and he's looking, or it's looking like he's essentially going to get extradited to the United States. This is the official letter, and we're going to be getting into it in this video. The Bahamas is very much a financial hub for a number of reasons. Obviously, the tax reasons are a massive one. So they have to act very, I would say, aggressively when it comes to something that has as much public attention as the whole FTX issue, and of course somebody who is such a public figure such as Sam Bankman-Fried. So I'll go ahead and read the statement from the Attorney General, and then we'll get into a little bit of news. And it's looking like he is going to get extradited. We know that Caroline was in the United States. There are some rumors that maybe she may have testified against Sam and FTX, but that is speculation. I'll just read what we know, sort of share the news, and then we'll wrap this video up because this is breaking news, guys. So this is a statement from the Attorney General of the Bahamas, Sen Ryan Pinder, KC, on the arrest of Sam Bankman-Fried. On the 12th of December 2022, the Office of Attorney Generals of the Bahamas is announcing the arrest by the Royal Bahamas Police Force of Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF for short. Former CEO of FTX, SBF's arrest follows receipts of formal notification from the United States that it has filed criminal charges against Sam Bankman-Fried and is likely to request his extradition. As a result of the notifications received and the material provided therewith, it was deemed appropriate for the Attorney General to seek Sam Bankman-Fried's arrest and hold him in custody to our nation's Extradition Act. At such time as formal request for extradition is made, the Bahamas intends to proceed it promptly, pursuant of Bahamian law and its treaty obligation with the United States. Responding to Sam Bankman-Fried's arrest, Prime Minister Davis stated the Bahamas and the United States have a shared interest in holding accountable all individuals associated with FTX who may have betrayed the public trust and broken the law. While the United States is pursuing criminal charges against Sam Bankman-Fried individually, the Bahamas will continue its own regulatory and criminal investigation into the collapse of FTX, with the continued cooperation of its law enforcement and regulatory partners in the United States and elsewhere. So it is official, guys. This was from the U.S. Attorney, SDNY. USA, Damian Williams. Earlier this evening, Bahamas Authority arrested Samuel Bankman-Fried at the request of the United States government based on a seal indictment filing by the SDNY. So this is coming from the horse's mouth, guys. We expect to move to unseal the indictment in the morning, and we'll have more to say at that time. So this is breaking news, guys. The Bahamas really had to act on this, I think. If you look at the Bahamas, you know, and a lot of their revenue and economy is based on people moving there, setting up financial organizations or organizations just in general for the sort of benefits that it provides. And they can't have something they can't look to be seen to be somewhere that allows people to get out with financial crimes. I personally know somebody that lost 7 figures in FTX, and it was nothing short of robbery. What we've found in regards to FTX as an exchange was that, and it's called into question exchanges like Binance and Coinbase and all these other exchanges, is that they were just completely manipulating the show. They were insider loans taking place that the collateral for these loans never existed. You know, there was questionability whether people actually buying spot crypto on the exchange was ever actually, theirs to begin with, or whether they even had the spot crypto to facilitate. I've personally noticed a bit of a shift in the markets from a trading point of view since FTX has gone down. FTX certainly led the market. Typically with the perpetual futures market anyway. Of course, we can't trade that in the UK. But this is absolutely big news, guys. And it's looking like, I think there was a lot of questionability. I wasn't 100% convinced, given the sort of shoulders that Sam Bankman-Fried was rubbing up against, that he was actually going to see jail time. But it's looking very much like that is the case. And what happened with FTX, I think, is nothing short of criminal. It just doesn't make, none of it makes a lot of sense, to be quite honest with you, in regards to what happened there. We know that Caroline, which was obviously a big part of Alameda Research, was in the United States. Was she potentially testifying or giving evidence against Sam Bankman-Fried? We know he came out and did a number of interviews actually recently as a result of the crash. He sort of came out, and I don't know if I'd call it a crash or the rug pull. He came out and gave a number of interviews and essentially potentially maybe incriminated himself on those interviews. I think he's not had the worst media coverage. I think if this was somebody else, they would be somebody maybe that didn't donate that much money to the Democrat Party and rub the shoulders with the sort of people that he did. The whole thing is just very strange. How did this guy manage to take a company in the best part of a year from where it was to where it was when it collapsed? A multi-billion dollar company. How did they manage to get licenses in Singapore? I know personally it's very hard to get a license in Singapore. It's hard to do anything in Singapore actually, over a short period of time, certainly the space of a year. I mean, I've struggled. I've looked to get licenses for certain things in Singapore, and it is not an easy process. And not only that, it's very costly. Not that would be an issue, but usually it's quite a long, drawn-out process. Binance, for example, really struggled and are still having some struggles with that. So how did Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX get all this back in? I think what's happened with FTX is a real wake-up call that we need to really look at who's pushing a certain project, whether it be an exchange or a cryptocurrency. And if it's backed by big investors like Kevin Leary, who are also public figures, then maybe him coming out and publicly talking about it, he's doing for his own benefit. And it's not just a dig at Kevin O'Leary at all. It's a dig really at the sort of influential sort of supposedly financial giants that many of them are just one-trick ponies. They got rich years ago and have been talking about it ever since and making a living off talking about it. It's just a complete mess. I'm sad about this whole situation because as somebody who's a blockchain enthusiast, I think it's really damaged the industry. I think it's going to give regulators all the rights that they need moving forwards to actually come out and harshly regulate our infant space. We're still such a new space, but this is just mind-blowing, and it's almost a sigh of relief for me that he's actually been arrested and that they're actually going to do something about it. I think they had to. I think if they didn't do something about it, it really calls into question, not that we already all don't know just how corrupt the governments around the world are, and the sort of financial, institutions and so on and so forth, but it would really bring a bad spotlight on them, not that they don't already have that. So this is, I think, good news. It's a sad situation in regards to the crypto space that this has happened. I actually didn't envision FTX going down. I thought that if you were a trader, actually FTX wasn't particularly a bad exchange to trade on, but of course it was just fraudulent through and through. A lot of what we've seen, I've been quite quiet about the situation, really waiting to see what plays out, but a lot of what we saw with FTX was just downright fraudulent. There's no way to describe that. If somebody's going to give you their money out of trust, and then you take that money, you tell them you're doing one thing with it, and then you go and do another and basically gamble it. and then it backfires on you, there should be that's nothing short of robbery and dishonesty, in my opinion, and there should be punishments equated with that. And we've seen people go to jail for a lot longer for a lot less. In the United States, we still have people on minor drug charges in jail for, into the double digits of years, and for other petty things like that. So if he had sort of walked free of this, I mean, I don't want to get into the whole sort of rabbit hole of how the laws really don't work in a lot of senses, but if he had walked free of this, it would have been a really bad look and a bad rap for not only the Bahamas, but the United States as a whole. All I've got for you in this video, guys. You enjoyed the content, like, so I appreciate it. So as a comment, I'll catch you in the next YouTube video.